For today's Sea of Thieves tips, I want to go over one of Naval's most game-changing mechanics, Cursed Cannonballs. Knowing what they are and how to use them in your fights will change the tide of any encounter for crews big or small, so let's dive in. When searching for Cursed Cannonballs, you'll generally find a few on outposts and often a few on skull forts. While this may be the easiest way to find them, I find the majority of my cursed when boarding other ships and stealing them from other crews. There are 5 different green Cursed Cannonballs and 6 different purple Cursed Cannonballs, with Wraith Balls being an honorable mention. Green Cursed Cannonballs aim to immobilize the player, whereas purple Cursed Cannonballs aim to immobilize the ship. With a total of 11 Cursed Cannonballs, let's jump into what each one actually does. Starting with the Grogball, these cannonballs apply the drunk effect on players for a few seconds. This effect causes the player's vision to blur, their movements to sway, and of course throwing up. Most importantly, it makes repairing your ship or aiming cannons extremely difficult. The Limpball applies a limping effect on players, similar to the one gained by falling down from great heights. It simply makes a player move very slow, which by itself lacks any real substance. However, if used in conjunction with a Ballastball against a galley ship, it can devastate the crew, who are unable to patch and bail fast enough because of it. The Wearyball makes players perform the sleep emote for a few seconds, blocking them from performing any actions. This allows for any holes already made to pour water in uncontested, or to stop an enemy from firing upon you when approaching a broadside. My advice is using a Wearyball when you plan to go for a boarding opportunity, to keep the enemy from ladder guarding and all but guaranteeing you get on. Similar to the Wearyball, the Jigball makes players perform the dance emote for a few seconds and blocks them from performing any actions. Therefore, you can use the Jigball or Wearyball respectfully to perform the same tactical approach. The Venomball has the same effect as being bitten by a snake, causing the poison status effect and affecting the entire crew. The screen will turn dark purple, and health will start degenerating by 5% every second for a few seconds. While this is generally considered fairly harmless by itself, it can be an effective tool used specifically at night, where the darkened screen may obstruct their vision. Considered one of the most powerful Cursed Cannonballs in the game, a ship hit by an Anchorball will have its anchor state switched on impact. If the anchor was up upon impact, the anchor will immediately lower to anchor their ship, and if it was already lowered, it will raise the anchor instead. It should be noted that the anchor can be immediately raised after being lowered by an Anchorball, and therefore highly advised you follow up with chain shots to ensure they stay immobilized. A ship hit by a Peaceball will have its cannons raised and locked to the highest position while cursed. The curse will last a few seconds, after which the purple smoke will disappear and the cannons can be readjusted. This is often best used either to put pressure on the enemy and force them on the defensive, or more importantly, as a get-out-of-jail-free card approaching a broadside to save your ship from a bombardment. A ship hit by a Helmball will have its wheel cursed, instantly centering the wheel and reducing the effective turning range. The wheel will be surrounded in purple smoke for a few seconds until the effect wears off and the wheel can be readjusted. Admittedly though, there's very little use to this Curse Ball, save a very specific opportunity to force them into an island or perhaps even a keg they can't turn away from. Otherwise, you can pretty much avoid this one and opt into using almost anything else. The Ballastball curses the ship's hull for a few seconds, forcing it to sail low enough to take in water from the second deck of any ship. This means that a sloop and a brig will take in water from holes on the back of the ship, and a galleon will take in water from mid-deck holes. This is considered one of the strongest curses in the game and are often saved for galleon fights. It is often coupled best with Wearyballs, Jigballs, or even Limpballs for the greatest effect. Riggingball will curse a ship's sails, completely raising each, where the sails will be briefly stuck in this state, after which they can be lowered again by the crew. Not only can a Riggingball slow or even stop their ship for long enough to board, it is also famously used in conjunction with chain shots, where any broken masts an enemy crew might have and try to repair will be interrupted and forced back down. Barrelballs will curse the ship's supply barrels, preventing players from gathering resources. The implicit downside, however, is this ball is virtually ineffective against crews who often already have their personal inventory stocked or well-stocked storage crates to offset the effect. Therefore, similar to the Helmball, this often has very little value. Now that you're one step closer to being a true pirate legend, It's time you go out there and test your mettle with what you've learned. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you can always be notified of any upcoming videos. We stream regularly on Twitch at twitch.tv/Copiousjack with all our links located down below. And remember,
it's not about the gold, it's about the glory.